is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your SmackDown review for July 3rd, 2020. And I'm not sure if you guys are aware. Matt Riddle's been on SmackDown for 1 match and 2 weeks. Actually, 3 weeks, if you count last week, where he actually aided the SmackDown roster in beating Baron Corbin down. So he's been on SmackDown for 3 weeks and 1 match. And WWE tonight, in the open of the show, they bring Matt Riddle out. And the one thing that they want you to know more so than anything else about Matt Riddle is why he doesn't wear shoes. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but Matt Riddle doesn't wear shoes when he's in the ring performing. Wow. If that doesn't reek of last-minute writing, I don't know what does. That's the best you can come up with? Matt Riddle and why he doesn't wear shoes is the best thing you can come up with. That's the one thing you want us to know about Matt Riddle in WWE instead of where he came from, how good he is legitimately as a performer. The fact that he doesn't wear fucking shoes. Awesome. That's the extent of WWE's creativity, folks. Right there. Kind of goes hand in hand with SmackDown. I'm not shocked. At all. That was the open of the show. In the closing segment of the show, I don't know what the fuck we were watching, why we had to be subjected to it in the main event. I was actually waiting for John Taffer to come on out and say, shut it down. I was waiting for John Taffer to come on out and find something wrong with this segment. That's how bad this segment was with Jeff Hardy and Sheamus. Now, granted, some people like it, some people don't, some people find it tasteless, some people still don't mind it. But I think I now have joined the list of people that don't like it anymore. Enough is enough. Look at all the alcohol that Jeff Hardy had to be subjected to tonight. All the alcohol bottles staring him down in the middle of the ring in that closing segment. Sheamus wasn't even there, which is another story that I don't know how many people are going to pick up on. Sheamus wasn't even there to toast, legitimately, to Jeff Hardy. Now, all I was thinking about is, man, that bottle of Tito's looks fantastic. I can make myself several cold beverages with that bottle. I don't really understand it. I got what WWE was doing at the start of this thing. I really did. I tried to like it. I even praised WWE for thinking outside of their uncreative box with the DUI segment. Because that was pretty much a way to get Jeff Hardy and Sheamus out of the Intercontinental title tournament. And now we are here. And they're still just throwing Jeff Hardy under the bus and really telling us what they think of Jeff Hardy. They're not handling Jeff Hardy with care anymore. Because a man in his situation, so close to being removed from the situation that he was in last year, you're going to put him in front of all of those bottles of alcohol and expect him to be mentally okay after this segment? I don't know how irresponsible Bruce and Vince McMahon and WWE management can be, but that was absolutely tasteless television. And that is a tale of two cities. That was SmackDown tonight, folks. Thank you guys so very much for joining me right here on the podcast. We're going to go over it all on Off the Script tonight for July 3rd, 2020. Also on the show tonight, WWE The Horror Show, Extreme Rules, SmackDown, and the Universal Championship. We got Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. And we're going back to the Wyatt family compound, the Wyatt family swamp, where it all began. We got a preview of the Wyatt family swamp match that is happening between Braun Strowman and the eater of worlds, or the eater of pins, the eater of losses, Bray Wyatt. That was on tap for tonight as well. We got Drew Gulak versus AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship. That happened, obviously, when Daniel Bryan, during the championship celebration, said to AJ Styles, why don't you defend the Intercontinental Championship against Drew Gulak? And that is when Matt Riddle came out and introduced himself to the WWE faithful. So Styles then mocked the SmackDown roster during his championship presentation. The next week, Bryan pointed out that Gulak deserves a title shot since he defeated Styles before Styles won the title. And that was how that came to be. We got Sheamus and Jeff Hardy. They're also continuing their storyline as Sheamus presented a toast to Jeff Hardy on tonight's SmackDown. And then Matt Riddle with an exclusive interview with Mr. Commentary guy there, Michael Cole, who made his SmackDown debut 2 weeks ago. He defeated Styles in a non-title match. Riddle was also one of the wrestlers who helped lay out Baron Corbin at the end of last week's Undertaker tribute show. So tonight's interview will take place in the ring and, like I said, was conducted by Michael Cole. And that was pretty much all that was on tap for SmackDown. We also got Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross with Bayley and Sasha Banks, with Bayley and Nikki Cross building to their match at the horror show, Extreme Rules, with Sasha Banks and Bayley still, week in and week out, easily the best thing on WWE main roster television. So, like I said, we'll go over all of that right here on the podcast, man. Again, thank you guys so very much for joining me. Thank you for live tweeting with me tonight at JD from NY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you're new around here and find me to be worthy of a subscribe. I would love it. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. And if you enjoy anything in this podcast tonight, hit that thumbs up. Also helps out the video and the channel greatly, so I would really appreciate that as well. Patreon.com/JD from NY206 if you want to show some extra appreciation to what I do here on the channel day in and day out. If you missed anything that I've uploaded on the channel this week, which has been another busy week, Monday Night Raw, NXT, AEW, off the script today at 4 o'clock with an exclusive coming out of the Monday Night Raw tapings that took place today. Monday Night Raw creative right now is in complete chaos. Several sources backstage, and we talked about this on the show today, and it was one hell of a rant. Go and listen to it, man. It is well worth your time. Several sources in WWE states that Monday Night Raw creative and WWE creative in general is right now leaderless, and it's legitimately falling apart. If you guys want to hear what happened coming out of the Monday Night Raw tapings, what Vince McMahon did and didn't do, what Bruce is not doing, and what I feel about the shitty WWE product in 2020 because of Vince McMahon firing Paul Heyman and thinking that he was actually doing a good thing with that move, man, you gotta go and listen to this rant on the show today, live this afternoon. It went up on YouTube. Go and check it out. Link for that will be down in the description of this very video. Tonight's podcast is brought to you by my good friends over at Audible, audibletrial.com/offthescript. If you guys want your 30 days of Audible service and one free audiobook of your choice, all you have to do is use our unique link, audibletrial.com/offthescript. Great way to help yourselves out. Great way to help me out. Everybody wins. audibletrial.com/offthescript. So thank you guys for supporting one of many sponsors here on the podcast. Let's get into the show tonight, man. At the top, Michael Cole welcomed everybody to COVID, a.k.a. the Performance Center. We got everybody wearing masks because this was taped yesterday. WWE taped SmackDown for tonight and next week yesterday. They taped, or at least I think they taped, Monday Night Raw today for Monday and the following Monday, and everybody's home. So that is the latest schedule for WWE this week. Everybody wearing masks. Michael Cole was in the ring, introduced Matt Riddle, Corey Graves tossed into a recap of Riddle's debut against AJ Styles 2 weeks ago, where he actually pinned the Intercontinental Champion in his first match on the blue brand. Still to this day, I don't like it. Got to work your way up to AJ Styles and that win, and they gave him a win and a match with AJ Styles right out of the gate. Is Riddle that good? Yes. But no matter how good you are, you should actually follow the same path as everybody else. Work your way up and build intrigue for a title match. No reason to give AJ Styles a loss after he just won the Intercontinental Championship. And the champion, again, every single week, seems to be losing on TV in these non-title matches, which then gives way to the challenger getting his championship match instead of the challenger going through the mid-card and getting some solid wins and then building his way up to the champion. WWE's formulaic way of doing these things needs to come to an end. That's my problem. So we've seen a recap of that. Michael Cole asked Matt Riddle if he could put into words what it meant to beat AJ Styles in his debut. Not really, Riddle said. He said it was the culmination of a dream and a lot of hard work. He said Styles punching him in the face was an out-of-body experience because he respects Styles, bro. Then he looked into the camera and said, AJ, I respect you, bro. I'm pretty sure I like AJ more than he likes me. Riddle listed off wrestlers he shared the ring with last week and said, I could get used to this. Cole asked about Riddle's bare feet during his matches. Riddle said, it's a long story, bro. He said his family took him to Wisconsin in the wintertime when he was a kid. And I knew this was immediately written by Vince McMahon. He'd swim indoors in an indoor pool, then run outside barefoot into the snow, he described. One time, he said, he stayed out a little too long and his feet started burning. He was diagnosed with frostbite. They were even talking about amputating the bro's tootsies, he said. Definitely written by Vince McMahon or a combination of Vince and Bruce. Nobody uses the word tootsies. A Tootsie Roll, I enjoy. Having Matt Riddle say tootsies on live television, not my cup of coffee, bro. Anytime I put my feet in shoes, I get that burning sensation again. Cole told him to keep competing barefoot. Then out comes the greatest enhancement talent that WWE has ever seen, Baron Corbin. I shall not call him king. You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about when King Corbin's music hit. How long that king moniker is actually going to be a thing. Because we're getting close to a year now removed from the last time WWE did the King of the Ring tournament. Is WWE going to do the King of the Ring tournament again this year? I think it was in September last year they did it, after SummerSlam. I would love to see another tournament. I would love to see Corbin in it and defending his crown. I would love to see him lose the tournament so he's not called King Corbin anymore. I would love to see someone else get the rub for the entire year. And knowing WWE, they would probably have Corbin lose in the first round, and then he would still go on and pretend to be king and feud with whoever won the tournament. So we'd have the real 2020 king and the imposter king played by Corbin, just so that they can still call him King Corbin. Am I getting close here? Am I in the ballpark, Bruce? Is that on your itinerary already? I would not be surprised. So out comes Mr. Enhancement Talent, Baron Corbin. He comes to the ring, and Corbin told Riddle he could have saved everyone a bunch of time just by saying, when I was a kid, I was an idiot. Corbin said, well, as an adult, you're still an idiot. Corbin chastised Michael Cole for giving Matt Riddle some airtime via this exclusive interview. He told Cole to get out of the ring. Corbin said what Riddle did to him last week was a true sign of disrespect. This isn't going to be tolerated, Corbin said. Nobody is happy that you're here on SmackDown, he also added. Corbin promised to make Riddle pay. You do you, bro, said Matt Riddle. So Riddle brushed off Baron Corbin, wanted nothing to do with what he was saying here. Corbin said on SmackDown, Riddle needs to be ready for a match at any moment. He said someone needs to put Riddle in his place and slap him around. Riddle then challenged Corbin to a match. Corbin said, you just don't get to face the king out of the blue. John Morrison's music hit, and he walked out to the ring with The Miz, and we were going to get John Morrison versus Matt Riddle to open SmackDown. Now, like I said in the beginning of the show, WWE's extent, as far as creative goes, is Matt Riddle not wearing shoes. This is what they honed in on. Because it's so out of the blue for WWE. It is so bizarre to them that Matt Riddle doesn't wear shoes that they're going to make it a thing. Every time you see Matt Riddle now, you're going to wonder what WWE is going to say next about his fucking shoeless ventures on SmackDown. That's exactly what they want you to think. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Because they don't have any respect for someone like Matt Riddle. I believe all the reports about WWE giving Matt Riddle a hard time because he doesn't appreciate and respect the hierarchy in WWE. So they're going to embarrass him with this shoe bullshit. That's exactly what they're going to do. Now, I don't know if the story that Matt Riddle told is true. I don't know if there was some ribbing. I don't know if there was some hidden truths in there, if any of that happened. I don't know. I don't think we'll ever know. But it sounded like a Vince McMahon written bullshit story. Now, obviously, I did some research here, and if you guys actually listen to Lillian Garcia and her podcast, Chasing Glory, Matt Riddle was actually on Chasing Glory with Lillian Garcia, and he explained, because she brought it up as well. And it was in a genuine manner how she brought it up. She asked him, what's with the no shoes? And this is what he said in regards to his decision for not wearing shoes when he performs on Lillian Garcia's podcast. And I quote, I like wrestling without my shoes, and that's what I've been doing. Shoes are okay. I don't really like them. They hurt my feet. I've been doing jujitsu, and I've been barefoot for so long, it just makes me feel more natural. And when I first started wrestling, because I bought shoes to train in, I bought shoes and I kept smashing my heels or parts of my feet because it felt like I had a shield on. So it was like I was protecting myself. He goes on to say, so then I stopped wearing knee pads. I stopped wearing elbow pads and shoes. And since then, I haven't been hurt because I make sure I take everything properly, you know? It still looks dangerous, but I take a superplex, I just land flat, you know, rather than landing on my heels. Stuff like that is just smarter to me, you know? I feel like I need that risk. I need that struggle. If I don't risk blowing out everything, I get lazy. So clearly that is nothing to do with what he stated here tonight. It was just some typical childish, juvenile, main roster written drivel for Matt Riddle to embarrass himself on SmackDown in Week 3. This is what WWE thinks we want to know about Matt Riddle instead of his storied past and how great of a performer he is, and the fact that he is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and how good of an MMA fighter he is, and how great of a pro wrestler he is. No, he has no shoes. He doesn't wear shoes when he wrestles. He's a weirdo. He's not like everybody else because he doesn't wear shoes. Now we'll feud him with Baron Corbin. Then there was a report about Baron Corbin. I don't know if it was legit or not. Sounds like it was storyline, but I could see Baron Corbin saying that. That Baron Corbin felt like Matt Riddle needed to go through 5 enhancement talents to get to Baron Corbin. So now we're seeing that play out on TV. Matt Riddle's going to go through this guy, and this guy, and this guy, and that guy before he gets to Baron Corbin at some show, whether it be SmackDown, or maybe they do it as soon as Extreme Rules. I don't know. But Baron Corbin thinks that Matt Riddle should go through 5 enhancement talents to get to him. Meanwhile, Baron Corbin is the king of enhancement talents. He's a nobody. He's a loser. He's the Oni Lorcan. And that's actually disrespecting Oni Lorcan. He is the Oni Lorcan of SmackDown. And even at that point, Oni Lorcan is so much more superior than Baron Corbin. I didn't like this at all. I thought it was just very childish and juvenile how they pinpointed the one thing that we all know about Matt Riddle, And the fact is, he doesn't wear shoes. And then they hide it in this bullshit story written clearly by a 74-year-old man and his 8-year-old mentality. That's exactly what that was. Matt Riddle versus John Morrison. This was the open of the show. This was absolutely fucking fantastic. Absolutely fantastic between these two guys. This was easily the best match of the entire wrestling week on all shows. Raw, AEW, and NXT. This was easily the best televised TV match all week. Corbin joined Michael Cole and Corey Graves on commentary. Cole wondered how Corbin had the power to make a match. I think we were all wondering that as well. So then Michael Cole said, you had a failed run as Constable on Monday Night Raw and almost ran Monday Night Raw into the ground. And then Baron Corbin replies, and I found this to be very interesting, if you guys were paying attention. He says, that's not my fault. Look at who their champion is. Now, I don't remember ever hearing anything coming out of Corbin's mouth like that in this type of role. But I don't know if he's talking about Seth Rollins. I don't know if he's talking about Brock Lesnar. I don't know if he's talking about Drew McIntyre. He said, look at who their champion is right now. Is he talking about Drew McIntyre? Is that a shot by WWE management to Raw and to Drew McIntyre? Does that spell the end of Drew McIntyre on Monday night? I found that to be very weird that he stated it like that. Look at who their champion is. Who is he talking about? I don't know. So he was on commentary. Riddle and Morrison had a very good match here. Hard-hitting, very good, high-flying, showed off the skill set of Matt Riddle, showed off the skill set of John Morrison, which I will talk about in a second. Riddle and Morrison started off with some mat wrestling. Riddle went for a knee bar. Morrison made it to the ropes. Morrison then hit Riddle with a stiff forearm. Riddle fought back. Morrison attempted a running kick, but Riddle caught the leg. Riddle locked in an ankle lock soon after. Morrison escaped. Riddle attempted a release German, but Morrison landed on his feet and hit a springboard kick. Morrison slowed the pace down and then applied a chin lock. Riddle got back to his feet. Morrison backed him into the corner. Morrison then ended up on the apron and hit Riddle with a kick. Morrison then hit a springboard corkscrew crossbody for a near fall, which looked beautiful. And I'm like, holy shit, maybe I should put my phone down, my new iPhone 11 Pro Max with the new screen, and actually pay attention to this match. Morrison rocked Riddle with a sick-looking running knee for another near fall. Riddle absorbed a series of kicks here. They teased trading shots, but Morrison poked Riddle in the eyes because heel. So Riddle fought back and suplexed Morrison across the ring. Riddle ended up on the outside of the ring, where he was right in front of the commentary table. He picked up one of his slippers and threw it at Baron Corbin on commentary. Then we go to commercial break. So Corbin, back from commercial break, was not on commentary anymore. He was at ringside cheering on John Morrison with The Miz. So it was pretty much a 3-on-1 situation here for Matt Riddle. So Riddle was in control, hit a Broton, hit the bro to sleep, hit the German suplex for a near fall. Riddle then attempted a floating bro, but Morrison got his knees up. Riddle locked in a bro mission, but Morrison made it to the ropes, so he escaped the bro mission. John Morrison got himself out of a bro mission, which is Matt Riddle's finishing move, and he had it applied, and he got out of it. He got out of it. Morrison and Riddle fought to the top turnbuckle. Morrison hit a Spanish fly off the top, and then another standing Spanish fly in the middle of the ring for a near fall. Everybody was going crazy at ringside. Miz couldn't believe it. Baron Corbin couldn't believe it. I'm like, man, these guys are fucking lighting it up on SmackDown tonight. Riddle and Morrison then traded more shots in the middle of the ring back and forth. Riddle rocked Morrison with a jumping knee. Riddle followed up with a powerbomb into a running knee for another close near fall. Miz then jumped on the apron, which was something that was going to happen anyway. I'm surprised it took him that long to do that. He jumped on the ring apron. Riddle knocked him off. Corbin then on the other side jumped on the ring apron. Riddle knocked him off too. Morrison rolled up Riddle for a very close near fall. Riddle recovered quickly and rolled up Morrison for the win, and he pinned John Morrison in the middle of the ring tonight on SmackDown. And that was it. Afterwards, AJ jumped Riddle as Riddle was walking up the ramp, leaving. Drew Gulak ran out and attacked Styles. And that's how AJ Styles and Drew Gulak got started. But we went to a commercial break, and then we came back from commercial, and then AJ Styles and Drew Gulak, with no introduction, already started on SmackDown for match number 2. But before we get there, let me talk about how great this match was between Matt Riddle and John Morrison. After the match was over, we had Sarah Schreiber. She was in the back, and she tried to interview with all three of these guys. Morrison was yelling. He was fuming backstage, furious at what had happened. Schreiber approached. Corbin said he'd pull some strings and make sure the feet are cut out from Matt Riddle's career. And that was pretty much all they stated, and then walked off. Folks, we learned a couple of things tonight with this Matt Riddle and John Morrison match. Number one, John Morrison clearly chose the wrong promotion to do his thing. WWE is not going to let John Morrison do his thing the way we all know John Morrison can do his thing. I honestly think if he went to AEW, he would be better off for it. I don't think WWE really appreciates what John Morrison brings to the table. I do love John Morrison. I've been a big John Morrison fan for many years. I don't like the fact that he's with The Miz, friend or not. I do think The Miz, as an act, brings John Morrison down. John Morrison is better than The Miz. John Morrison is far superior than whatever he's doing now with The Miz and has done with The Miz. John Morrison is vastly underappreciated in WWE. They don't realize how good he is. Tonight was the first time since his return. Maybe one other time. Maybe that ladder match at WrestleMania. One other time besides that. This was the only time that I looked at John Morrison and said, man, this guy is fucking great. Where has this John Morrison been all these years? Well, these months, I should say, since his return to the WWE. I don't get it. He's got to get away from The Miz. He has to get away from The Miz. The Miz is a good promo. The Miz is terrible in the ring. I feel like with how terrible The Miz is, it's bringing John Morrison down. So those are the two things that we learned as far as John Morrison goes. The other thing that we learned is, if you don't know it now you know it. Matt Riddle is a great professional wrestler. And these two absolutely killed it. I would absolutely take another match between these two with the stakes high. Morrison leaving Miz, Riddle the IC champion, Morrison goes on his own way, and we get a rematch for the IC title somewhere down the line in the future. This was fantastic. Easily the best match of your TV wrestling weeks right here on SmackDown with Morrison and Matt Riddle. AJ Styles versus Drew Gulak. We went right into this match for the Intercontinental Championship. Drew Gulak had wrist tape on, and it said Havoc. Some people were mistaking it for Jimmy Havoc. I asked on Twitter, and you guys educated me. It's about Danny Havoc. He was actually friends with Danny Havoc, very good friends, in fact, with Danny Havoc, who actually just passed away as of a couple of weeks ago, and I believe he worked out of CZW, so that was in honor of his friend Danny Havoc, if you guys picked up on that as well. This wasn't a bad match, but it wasn't my cup of tea. For some reason, I just felt very bored watching this. AJ is great, but I do think that it was just way slower than I would have anticipated for Drew Gulak and AJ Styles match. I know Drew Gulak is a submission guy, but working with AJ, I think he would have sped up the pace a little bit, and he did not. That did not happen. Styles was in control, beat down Gulak around the ring. Gulak fought back, used the victory roll for a near fall. Styles quickly regained control. Brian was in and out doing the picture-in-picture. He was actually on a Zoom call. Makes me wonder if WWE is actually now sponsored by Zoom with all the fucking Zoom calls they've done during quarantine. But Daniel Bryan was in picture-in-picture talking about the match with Gulak and Styles. So he was in and out a couple of times giving his thoughts on the match. Styles used a snap suplex for a 1 count on Gulak. Gulak recovered and hit Styles with some hard forearms. Styles quickly took over the match, again with a dragon screw leg whip. Styles then focused his attack on Gulak's injured leg, obviously setting him up for the calf crusher. Styles attempted the calf crusher, but Gulak rolled through, locked in a submission. Styles quickly made it to the ropes to break the hold. Styles became frustrated at ringside. Gulak then rocked Styles with some sliding drop kicks. Back from a second break, Gulak had control of the match. Styles sent Gulak shoulder first into the ring post. Styles then hit a brainbuster for another close near fall on Gulak. Styles continued to dominate the match, beat down Gulak some more. Gulak rolled up Styles for a near fall, but Styles poked him in the eye because heel. Styles slowed the pace down again with another shin lock. I don't know if it was the pacing of the match or the fact that the match went on a little bit too long. I don't know what it was, but it didn't feel very interesting to me. Let me know what you guys think down below. Gulak recovered, dropped Styles face first on the turnbuckle. Gulak fired up, hit a series of drop kicks. Gulak then hit a Michinoku driver for a close near fall. Gulak placed Styles on the top turnbuckle, but Styles slipped out the back and dropped Gulak face first on the turnbuckle. Then he followed up with the Styles Clash, but did not go for the pin. He actually fixed his elbow pad, jumped off the top rope, hit a phenomenal forearm, and that was it for the win. I love AJ Styles. No matter what AJ Styles does, he always is one of the best parts of the show. Easily one of the best wrestlers in the world. We all know that. Can work with anybody, and you know you're going to get a great match no matter who he's in the ring with. And I think the move to SmackDown is actually making him just come off a little bit better. Now, the match with Gulak, like I said, I don't know if it was the methodical pacing of the match, the fact that it was too slow, the fact that Gulak didn't pick up the pace working with AJ Styles, or maybe it was just that the match was too long and it could have been shaved down maybe 4 or 5 minutes. I don't know. But I didn't really feel this match tonight on SmackDown. I knew the winner was going to be AJ, so the winner was never in question. But it did continue with storyline, so I really can't complain too much about what had happened and how this match came to be. I like the frenetic pace of how the match started, and it really aided in making hour 1 of SmackDown a really decent watch. And then after that, the show fell off a cliff. Additionally, I love AJ Styles' new t-shirt. I'm actually looking at it right now on WWE Shop. ASAP is written on his t-shirt. AJ Styles, always phenomenal. It's a great little catchphrase that he's got going on there. Nice little t-shirt. One of the best looking t-shirts that I've seen in recent memory from WWE because it's different, you know? Everybody says ASAP in regards to something that they have to do or want done. The fact that I seen it on AJ Styles' shirt, I'm like, somewhat of a creative t-shirt by WWE. Interesting. Doesn't mean I'm going to go out and buy it. I just appreciate the level of creativity that's in that little t-shirt that they got for Styles. You guys know, when I say something, you're going to listen. You guys know when I stamp my name to something and put my name behind someone else. Could be anybody. Could be anything. You guys know I'm giving you the best. Look at this layout. If you guys are watching me on YouTube right now, look at the new SmackDown layout. You guys know who I work with. Salrex. He made me this. And I'm not surprised that it looks absolutely fucking fantastic. I got one for SmackDown. I got one for NXT coming. I got one for Off the Script this weekend. I got one for the Great American Bash. I got one for AEW. I got one for Raw. The man works his ass off to make this brand look as good as it does, to look the best out of everybody in the IWC. That is Salrex. And I know everybody's going to be celebrating the 4th of July. There's going to be 4th of July sales everywhere you go. But 4th of July for Salrex starts tonight, right here on Off the Script. If you guys need anything done, simple logo design, $15. Detailed logo design, $25. A Twitter banner, $10. A Twitter avatar and a banner, combo, $20. And a YouTube revamp, that's a logo and channel banner, $30. The deal ends on Saturday at midnight. If you miss out, his next graphic sale will take place August 5th for his 10-year anniversary. Yes, 10 fucking years of doing graphics-related work. All you guys have to do is hit him up, srxgfx@aol.com. Bro, who still has an AOL account? I know I do. All the cool kids still have an AOL account. Guys, I mean it. Salrex is the best at what he does. Go and get your graphics done by him today. If you are a music artist, a podcaster, a streamer, a vlogger, anybody in between, anybody and everybody, get your work done by him. He is the absolute best, and it is my pleasure to be working with him. Not only do I call him a business partner, but I also, most importantly, call him a friend. And without him and my boys, this channel ain't going anywhere in the IWC. Salrex, hit him up, get what you need today, 4th of July, and I hope him and everybody else listening has a great 4th of July holiday. Sasha Banks and Bayley headed to the ring after a commercial break. They flaunted their titles on their way to the ring. Bayley said they rolled through just about everybody this week, highlighting Banks' victory over Asuka on Monday. Showing up at Full Sail on Wednesday, she said, whoa, did Sasha. Don't give them any credit. The NXT faithful, being that they're inside the Performance Center. Just leave them where they are, behind the glass, like animals. So, they highlighted Banks' victory over Asuka, showing up at Full Sail on Wednesday. Bayley talked about their presence on all three brands, and then she got a call from The Undertaker. Now, I'm waiting for some clown to say, oh, well, JD doesn't like Charlotte being on all three shows, but he doesn't mind Sasha and Bayley. What an idiot. What a loser. From his mom's basement. Well, my dear social media clown, Sasha and Bayley can show up on all three brands because it's in the rules. They are tag team champions. Charlotte was never tag team champions. Charlotte was just overexposed. That's all that is. Nobody wanted her. And who's the real draw? Who is the real draw, bro? Sasha and Io drew 900,000 viewers on Wednesday night for their match on Wednesday during NXT show. Can Charlotte do that? Did Charlotte do that in NXT? I don't think so. So who is the real draw here comparing Sasha and Charlotte? I think Miss Banks can take that to the bank. So she got a call from The Undertaker, says Bayley. Bayley said Taker, as she calls him, told her that he's embarrassed by the amount of attention paid to him when she and Sasha Banks are redefining what it means to be champion. Bayley said Undertaker told her that he can't wait for her and Sasha to win their matches at Extreme Rules and hold all of the titles. She claimed Undertaker told her to tell management to hold a tribute for her and Sasha tonight on SmackDown. So Bayley said, yes, let's have it tonight. Sasha Banks introduced a video package of the two of them. It featured interviews with the two of them, talking each other up, and highlights of all their career milestones, championship matches, WrestleMania, this and that. So when the show returned live, Bayley and Sasha had started a thank you chant for themselves. And then Alexa Bliss comes out and ruins the entire moment. This was a little cringe, but I will say that Bayley and Banks have been the best thing on main roster television for several weeks now. And I don't really want Alexa Bliss to ruin a segment that I'm actually enjoying. Characters that I'm actually enjoying. How to ruin a segment on SmackDown with Bayley and Sasha Banks. Cue Alexa Bliss with Nikki Cross. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross came to the ring with a list of facts, talking each other up. None of the facts, by the way, included the fact that Alexa Bliss is blonde and that she's management's favorite blonde, and the fact that she's blonde is the reason why she got so far ahead in the WWE, because somebody in the WWE, whether it's Vince, Bruce, or most of the creative team, have this weird fetish with blondes. That was not on the list. That was not on the list. Nikki Cross said that Alexa Bliss was the first woman to drive across Antarctica in a go-kart. Again, I don't know if that's true, but that sounds pretty cool. Couldn't be me, though. Bliss said Cross is the 325th person in line to become Queen of England. So you thought Sasha and Bayley was cheesy. Just saying. So they stepped into the ring. Banks said no one was able to touch them, especially Bayley in the last year. She called Cross a hyper little runt. I know you thought I was going to use the other word that rhymes with runt. I'm not talking about hunts. The other word, get your mind out of the gutter, bro. A hyper little runt. Cross says she has heart. Something that the management on their show doesn't have. And she knows she can become the SmackDown Women's Champion. Banks and Bayley laughed. Bliss slapped Bayley in the face because that's all she can do. Banks volunteered for Bayley to face Bliss, and Bliss quickly accepted and said yes. This is garbage. Anything with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross is garbage. And I will say this. I'm actually not even going to shit all over Alexa Bliss here. She sucks as a babyface. She is absolutely unfathomable. Unwatchable as a babyface. Please, for the love of God, turn her back to being a heel. She is much more easier to stomach as a heel than watching her as a babyface. It is downright nauseating. Please. This didn't really come across well. The jokes were lame. The Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross reading off the list was lame. Sasha and Bayley was even a little cheesy as well with their video package tribute to themselves. I get it, it fits their character, and that's where the story is, so I didn't really mind it that much, because that's what we're all invested in. The fact that Alexa and Nikki came out, Alexa doesn't even need to be there. It's Nikki Cross and Bayley for the title at Horror Show, Extreme Rules. That's all that they need to concentrate on, yet we get Alexa Bliss in a segment that doesn't belong her, taking the spotlight away from everybody else. So we got Bayley and Alexa Bliss, Sasha and Nikki Cross in their respective corners. I like how this came about because Sasha did the same thing to Bayley that Bayley did to her. I don't know if you guys picked up on that. They're making each other's matches and kind of throwing each other under the bus here. And it was very subtle. Sasha did it because Bayley did it, but we don't know that Sasha did it because Bayley did it. It was more of, you're not going to make fun of my friend that way. You're not going to slap my friend that way. Bayley, get in there and kick her ass. It wasn't in a ill will way. And I wonder if that's going to actually play into everything that's happening here. So Bayley did it to Sasha, and now Sasha got one back on Bayley here tonight with Alexa Bliss. So the match happened, 6 minutes. I barely took notes on this because Alexa Bliss managed to catch Bayley with a stiff right, and she was quickly then on the mat because Bayley slammed her onto the apron. Bayley fired up like Nikki Cross, mocking her offense. Ha ha ha. She then hit Bliss with a corner bulldog, which looked nice for a near fall. Bayley then coaxed Nikki Cross into leaping onto the apron, which caught the attention of Jessica Carr, the referee, and allowed Sasha Banks to attack Alexa Bliss from the apron. This got Cross angry, who then ran across the ring to attack Sasha Banks on the other side. Bayley yelled at Cross, leading Nikki to snap and attack her, resulting in this match ending in a disqualification. And that was that. Sasha Banks was able to grab Bayley and pull her from the ring to stop the attack. Bliss and Cross held the ring, and Cross was screaming at Bayley that she will get hers at Extreme Rules. Match was terrible. Any match with Alexa Bliss is terrible. There was no psychology in this match whatsoever, and the DQ was the only ending that possibly made any sense here. You're not going to have Alexa Bliss take another loss on television, devaluing her. I could never see management doing that. And Bayley can't lose because she is the women's champion, who, by the way, has a match with Asuka on Monday night. WWE is giving champion versus champion matches away as if they're going out of style. I don't understand why. What are you going to do when the Survivor Series rolls around and all of these women are still in the title hunt going into Survivor Series? What are you going to think and do then when we already seen it this summer? Every single week, whether it's Charlotte versus Io, or Charlotte versus Rhea, or Charlotte versus this one, Charlotte versus Asuka. Now it's Sasha versus Asuka. Now it's Bayley versus Asuka. Sasha versus Io. What is with the champion versus champion matches? Keith Lee versus Adam Cole next week. What is it? This is the new thing in WWE. Unreal. Didn't like this at all. All I care about is Bayley and Banks, and they pushed it very nicely. Moving on into their inevitable feud at SummerSlam. video package of Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman for their Wyatt Swamp match, is what they're calling it. A Wyatt Swamp match. I don't know where they're filming this thing, but I do know it's going to be filmed ahead of time, and it's going to be cinematic. That's all we know. So we got a collection of archived clips of Bray Wyatt over generic swamp footage of alligators and murky water and trees in some desolate area. It's not the exact place that they're going to be filming the match, but it fits the narrative of what Bray Wyatt meant going back to the beginning. So that's that. So we got a preview of this, audio clips of Strowman's promo last week mixed in, gave you a recap of their Money in the Bank title match, and Bray Wyatt's return as the Eater of Worlds. So WWE is actually putting on their Money in the Bank ladder match, or not the ladder match, but the Money in the Bank match with Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman next week. They're giving you that match in full next week on SmackDown to fill time. I don't know who asked to watch that match again. I don't know who the fuck would want to watch that match again, but here we are. This is WWE's way of filling TV time next week during an empty fucking roster for SmackDown's tapings. Now, I get why they're doing it. They want that one final push for Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman, but the match really wasn't all that well. It wasn't all that good at all. It was decent for Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman standards, but it's nothing that I would go back and rewatch again. So I know what I'm going to be doing for my 20 minutes next week on SmackDown. So this is your warning. Go and find anything else to do during SmackDown, because you're about to see Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman from Money in the Bank in its entirety with commercials next week. Good job, WWE. Good job, Bruce. Good job, bro. We got Big E coming on in, and he and Kofi are headed to the ring. We got Kofi Kingston versus Shinsuke Nakamura, which I'm assuming this is going to be the inevitable title match for the tag team titles. All I'm thinking about here is, man, oh man, I miss Xavier. I really do. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but out of everybody in the New Day right now, the one I want to see most is Big E. I just find Kofi Kingston to be incredibly boring. And I look at the three-man group that is the New Day, and I find Kofi to be the most boring out of all three. I find Big E to be more exciting. I find Xavier to be more exciting. I think Kofi is the one I want to see least of. That's just my take there. I don't really understand this tag team title situation. Seems like Kofi Kingston and Big E can't seem to get a win over Cesaro and Nakamura. We're getting the match in, I guess, a week. Next week's show on SmackDown. It's not even happening at Extreme Rules unless there's a fuck finish next week, and then we get it again at Extreme Rules. I don't know what WWE's thinking about doing here, but I don't really find any interest in this because it's only going to go right back to the New Day getting the win over Cesaro and Nakamura, and the only reason why Nakamura and Cesaro are here is because the Forgotten Sons were supposed to be in this role, and they were taken off television. So I don't really find any interest in this whatsoever. This was a decent match, but nothing to get all that excited about. Nakamura hit a sliding German suplex for a near fall. Kingston tried fighting back. Nakamura caught Kingston with a back elbow. Nakamura draped Kingston over the apron and hit a running knee for a 2 count. Big E and Cesaro got kicked out of the ringside area. So they were kicked out. It had nothing to do with this match whatsoever. So Nakamura slowed the pace down, and he hit a chin lock. Kingston broke free, hit a flying forearm. Kingston fired up, made a babyface comeback here, landing a standing dropkick. Kingston attempted a crossbody, but Nakamura got the knees up and used an inside cradle for a near fall. Nakamura missed the Kinshasa. Kingston hit a very ugly SOS for a very close near fall. Nakamura then briefly took over, but Kingston hit a double foot stomp for another near fall. Kingston attempted the Trouble in Paradise, but Nakamura countered. He then hit the Kinshasa for a surprise victory over Kofi Kingston on SmackDown. After the match, Cesaro, being that he was kicked out of the ringside area, made his way down to the ring and started clapping for Nakamura. He pulled out a table from underneath the ring and slid the table in the ring. Big E came out, made the save before they could do anything to Kofi with the table, and the babyfaces chased the heels off. Decent match. Don't really care about the story going on between these two teams because I know Nakamura and Cesaro are just there to buy the New Day's time. The New Day have absolutely no competition in the tag team division on SmackDown, and it makes me wonder what is going to happen here. Maybe with the table being brought into the ring here, WWE is giving us a match next week for the tag team titles. It ends in a fuck finish, and then we get this match to happen again at the pay-per-view in a tables match, just to kind of give it that Extreme Rules vibe going into the pay-per-view. So I don't know what the table was brought into the ring for unless it's going to be used at the pay-per-view. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. But we're getting the match next week. So just by that, I might end up seeing, or we might end up seeing, this match end up in a fuck finish. Something might happen as far as the DQ. Maybe they just brawl and there's a no contest. I don't know. Something might happen next week that leads to a tables match, which we've seen as far as the table being introduced tonight by Cesaro, just to give it that Extreme Rules vibe for the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. That's my thought on that. Let me know what you guys think down below. So we move on from that, and we go to the main segment of the show. It wasn't even a match. It was a toast to Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy headed to the ring. Ring was set up for Sheamus' toast to Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy made his way down to the ring. This was the final segment of SmackDown. He shook his head at the bar set up in the ring. Hardy quickly grabbed a microphone and called out Sheamus. Sheamus wasn't even there. Sheamus was on the big screen, and he appeared on the big screen from his home. He said he decided to give Jeff some personal space. This is something that a lot of people questioned on social media. This segment did not have the same vibe that WWE kind of gave off in the preview. I thought Sheamus was going to be there to toast Jeff Hardy, and he was not there. He was actually via Skype or Zoom on the big screen. Now, does Sheamus fall in line with what happened with their COVID protocol? He was not on the show for a couple of weeks. Did Sheamus end up being one of the guys that actually caught the coronavirus at the PC, and they kept him home? And they opted to film him at home for this segment because they needed this segment to continue the storyline so the match could happen at Extreme Rules. Is Sheamus one of the guys, one of the names that they did not release that was tested positive at the Performance Center? I don't know. I don't think we'll ever know. But it's something to talk about, something to ponder, for sure. So Sheamus appeared on the big screen, said he decided to give Jeff some personal space. He congratulated Jeff on defending The Undertaker's honor, said Jeff was looking for a quick fix, and he's bound to fall back into his dangerous cycle. You have a problem, Sheamus said. He said it's not even drugs and alcohol. It's with facing reality. Sheamus said Jeff has been walking around feeling sorry for himself, and so he went looking for a quick pick-me-up by standing up for someone else. It's sad, it's pathetic, it breaks my heart, Sheamus said. He said he can't bear to see Hardy do this to himself. He said the solution is one of the bottles in the ring. He toasted to Hardy and claimed his life has been nothing but a series of DUIs and mugshots. He called him a beautiful junkie. Hardy said Sheamus is the sickest person he's ever met. He asked if it's funny to make fun of his and many other struggles. WWE certainly doesn't give a shit about your struggle or anybody else's struggle. Sheamus says he's not here to hurt, but rather help. You don't have to live a lie anymore, Sheamus said. He claimed that there's nothing Hardy would rather do than jump back into the gutter with both feet. Bombs away, Sheamus said, and he took a drink at his home bar. Sheamus's bartender offered Hardy an identical glass of alcohol that Sheamus was drinking. It looked like champagne. Sheamus told him not to pretend, to just follow his instincts. Hardy took the glass, appeared to give in and maybe drink it. Then he took it away from his lips. He lifted it to his lips and put it back down again. Then he poured it all over Sheamus's bartender's head and then took a bottle and smashed it over the bartender's head with, I don't know what it was tonight in the Performance Center, some horrible crowd audio. I don't know if they enhanced the audio or if they kind of spliced in audio from other shows to make the show seem a little bit more vibrant tonight. I don't know what it was. It happened to me all night. And I was wondering if WWE was fucking with the audio all night. Sometimes the people behind the glass came off louder than the theme music. I don't know what had happened, but this did not come off good. Hardy hit him with a swanton and stared down Sheamus on the screen as the show faded to black. This was not good. This was not good. Now, again, I don't want to make assumptions, and this is just me shooting from the hip here. I don't have any reports. I'm not going to act like a wrestle geek and claim that somebody tested positive when they tested negative and then get called out on it. But Sheamus wasn't there, which lends to the report that several other big names that Alvarez and Mike Johnson of PW Insider were reporting could be in the dozens upon dozens of people inside the Performance Center that tested positive. Sheamus was not there. Sheamus wasn't on last week's show either. AJ Styles wasn't on last week's show either, and they kept him off. I don't know why. Maybe that was a precautionary thing. But Sheamus wasn't on the show last week and again for this week's tapings. And I'm assuming he's not going to be on next week's show either because they taped both shows tonight. Is he one of the guys that tested positive? I don't really understand it. Maybe he is, maybe he's not, but that's going to get a lot of people talking. The Jeff Hardy situation, I was okay with the DUI hit and run attempt because I knew that was A, way to get them out of the Intercontinental Championship tournament, and B, to kickstart this sole Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus feud that didn't need to be in the tournament. If you wanted to build the entire tournament around them and have them end up in the finals, that's a different story, but you put them in the first round. So WWE needed a way out. I appreciated the different vibe that it gave to the show that night, but it was tasteless. Jeff Hardy taking a piss test administered by Sheamus was tasteless. Everybody calling up Jeff Hardy about his history, Sheamus calling him a junkie, Sheamus bringing up the fact that he's a failure of a father, he's going to end up back in the gutter. Tasteless. And this might have been the most tasteless of them all. Nobody takes into consideration that you could be a recovering alcoholic. Jeff Hardy is a recovering alcoholic. And you're watching this, and it's got to be painful to watch. Because it was only in November that he had all this shit happen to him. Jeff Hardy had all of this shit happen to him. He's still attending court. He still has court dates for what had happened. And WWE just blindly puts him in front of bottles of alcohol that would make John Taffer proud. Set up nicely in the ring tonight. Bottles of alcohol, and they don't have a mindful eye of what that could possibly do to his mental well-being. Do you want to see him fall back into that dark doldrum, that dark pit? Are you actually aiding in Jeff Hardy getting better? Or is this redemption your redemption and not Jeff Hardy's redemption? Doesn't seem like Jeff Hardy's redemption to me. Because you're doing everything to fucking embarrass him and throw him under the bus and make sure everybody knows that he's an alcoholic and a junkie. And you're putting him in front of the very fucking substance that got him in trouble in the first place. That doesn't sound like people that give a shit about Jeff Hardy whatsoever. They should be ashamed of themselves. That's not good television. That's lazy, creative writing. Anybody can look at Jeff Hardy and think, all right, let's take his history and bring it to life and make it a storyline. You were telling me a story of redemption. Is it Jeff Hardy's redemption or is it your redemption to get one over on Jeff Hardy? Because you know, after this contract, he's done. Or maybe you're taking it out on Jeff because Matt left you. Tasteless. Get the match over with and move on to something else. And no matter who he goes up against next, I'm sure it's still going to be a thing. What if Bray Wyatt wins the Universal Championship and Jeff Hardy is the next in line because there's no other fucking baby faces on the roster? What if Jeff Hardy enters the Funhouse? What is Bray Wyatt going to bring up as far as Jeff Hardy's fear and backstory? They're going to go right back to the bottle. It's disgusting. It really is disgusting. WWE should be ashamed of themselves. And what does this do for Sheamus? How does this make... Sheamus is great. Sheamus is playing his role Great. He's a great villain. But it just reeks of, we didn't really have anything for you, and we're doing this uncreative storyline with you and Jeff, and you're not going to go over anyway. Sheamus is not going to go over. It's almost as if they brought him back to TV with no fucking plan, and this is being written on the fly. This wasn't in the fucking cards for Sheamus when he came back. This is all being facilitated as it happens. So what does that say about WWE and how they feel about Sheamus? How they prioritize Sheamus? Not good. Not good. Hour 1 was decent. Great wrestling. Hour 2, I could have done without. Like I said, give me the bottle of Tito's, let me make myself a couple of cold beverages, and forget this show even happened. That's usually the way I feel every single week. Guys, I'm getting out of here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, follow me on Twitter, at JD from NY206, and Instagram as well, same at JD from NY206. If you guys are on iTunes, I would greatly appreciate you guys leave me a 5-star rating on iTunes. If you enjoyed the podcast, if you enjoy anything that comes off the script, let me know and leave me a comment and rate the podcast on iTunes. Also available on Stitcher, Spotify, Podbean, and Google Play. So go and check that out as well and support the podcast on all audio platforms. Patreon.com/JD from NY206 and audibletrial.com/off the script. And don't forget to hit up Salrex for all of your graphics needs. Big sale by my bro, Salrex, this weekend for the 4th of July holiday. Anything you guys need, anything at all, he will do it for you. He made this great layout. Unsurprised to me, it's fucking awesome. And I love it. It enhances the show so much, and that's exactly what he's going to do for you. Guys, I will see you right back here on Saturday for Off the Script for a very special 4th of July episode. If you missed part 1, link is down below in the description of this very video. And I will see you right back here for part 2 on your 4th. Have a good one, guys, and I'll see you right back here for OTS on Saturday afternoon. See you then.